Let's talk about our first quarter experience for 2025. Because I'm not able to
take part
in that aspect of the feeding. You know, I sleep really well at night. When we face challenges, you don't just like forget everything and say, okay, I'm not gonna do this anymore. You figure it out, right? You manage yourself through the challenges. I think AI can be good when used in good content, in good context, but it could be detrimental to growth, right? Development. My guy Shannon Sharp says, he say OKC, KFC, UFC, Lakers in 5. And there's a lot of sacrifice that comes along with that. Like to be great or to be as great as you want to be, like it's going to come with a lot of sacrifices. The first thing I do is figure out what it is I want to do. I write out the vision, like, okay, for the next 12 months, 18 months, whatever that timeline is, I literally write down the things I want to accomplish. All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the new episode of the Miles High Podcast. This is Miles Cunha. I'm your host. And as always, the vision and goal of this podcast is to entertain, educate, and elevate you miles high above your fears, your doubts, and any limitations that you may think exist, always knowing that those limitations only exist in your mind. All right? So for this pod, I wanted to do something a little different. I just wanted to kind of freeball this pod. I want to talk about a number of topics. I'm going to get the crew involved, everyone that's in the room. My wife's going to be involved as well. I'm just going to have some fun on this pod, right? This is the end of the first quarter of 2025. So I kind of want to just kind of do a review, if you will. Just kind of, discussing topics that we would have discussed in the past pod, any current events that's going on that we may want to mention, stuff like that. So for starters, I want to start off with, coming into this year, I mentioned that my wife and I had a new experience, right? We're on this new journey now. We had our daughter late last year. And let's talk about our first quarter experience for 2025. We recently rededicated our daughter. So I call it dedication. I think my wife's Sharicia religion calls it christening. Mm-hmm. But we thanked God, or
brought her under God's.
Sorry?
We brought her into God's kingdom.
Yes. Well, we can't do that. That's a choice she has to make.
But we did it on her behalf.
Which you guys say. But we call it dedication, right? So it's just dedicating the gift that God has given us, that He's blessed us with, back to Him, that He's entrusted us with, back to Him. So we recently did that, and that was a good experience. I'm happy to get that done. Our daughter has been a blessing to us, man. These she is
5 months.
5 months now. Yeah, 5 months, and she's done a lot of growing. She's turning over on her own now, so that was a good experience. First time I saw that a couple of weeks ago, it was a sight to see. She kind of did it random. Well, my wife saw it first. I came in maybe the second or third time that she did it, but it was put a smile on my face because she was super excited about it. She's been holding her neck up
since birth.
I want to say since she was born. She had a strong neck. She still had a loose neck, but for the most part she had a strong neck. She's very attentive. That's one of the things I must say. She's actually, she is nosy as well. She takes that from my wife. Very nosy, always in people's business.
Talking about you?
She's here right now with us on set. So if you hear a little goo goo gaga, that's my daughter. But it's been a good 5 months, man. I must say, I think one of the things for me that I have been appreciating the most is just the joy on her face every time she sees me. Like that melts my heart. Like she would look at me and it would just be like all smiles. Now, those smiles may quickly turn to cries or screams or whatever because she just is a kid and her attention span is less than 2 seconds. But nonetheless, when I see that smile, it absolutely brightens my day. Babe, what's the most exciting what's the most exciting thing so our daughter isn't taking bottle right now. So my wife has been doing all of the feeding, breastfeeding daily, all the time. She's always hungry, right? Another thing she gets from my wife. But it's a lot of pull on my wife. You know, it's very little I can do when it comes to feeding. And I hear all of you saying, "Oh, you could feed your wife's breast milk in a bottle." We have tried every bottle that exists, guys. Mm-hmm. We have literally tried all of the bottles, but nothing seems to work. So we've decided that whenever she wants to start drinking out of a bottle, she definitely will. But babe, you know, what's been the highlight for the last five months for you?
There's been a lot of highlights, but I guess one thing that melts my heart is when I'm feeding her and then she takes her hands and put them on my face and starts to smile. I think for me, that's like, okay, I understand.
Yeah, I think they said that means that she's appreciating. Again, I watched a ton of baby videos and I'm the baby genius right now, right? I know everything about babies at this point. But they say when babies are breastfeeding and they put their hands on their mother's mouth, it's a sign of them wanting to return to their mother or showing appreciation for the nutrients that they are getting and them wanting to transfer the nutrients back to the mother. Have you heard that?
No.
You've never heard that?
Never heard that.
I promise you I ain't tripping. So no one heard that? No one ever see that? Only me? All right. I'm sure now that I've said it, my phone has heard me.
Sounds good in theory.
I promise you, a video is gonna come on all your phones now when you're scrolling social media, and you're gonna see. But that's what I've heard. That's one of the things that they say babies do. I'm mad no one else heard that.
No. Other than that, I think our daily walks, I enjoy that because she really loves to go outside, and she loves it. It's one of her favorite things to do. And I also like the bond between her and Milo, our dog.
Yeah, they're starting to bond.
Yeah,
Milo is getting raggy though.
Yeah, she is fist him up.
But no, it's been a good first 5 months with our daughter, and I'm enjoying it, and looking forward to start on baby number 2.
Please don't. What has she taught you about yourself so far?
About myself? I don't think she's taught me anything yet about myself. She has taught me a lot about like newborns that I might have anticipated things a certain way, and she is showing me different. So one of them is she is going to do like my daughter. She is very strong-willed. I don't know. I lie.
You don't know where she got that from?
I do know where she got it from. She's very strong-willed. So if she don't want to do something, she is not. Like she is going to fuss and cry and scream because she doesn't want to do it. And seeing that like in someone else, like it shows me like, wow, she has really taken on like some of my characteristics and some of yours as well. And then like this may be me being naive at the time, or right now I should say, but infants aren't like it isn't as bad as I thought it would have been. Like no, I mean like in the sense, people just be like, oh man, I'm not able to do anything. I can't sleep. I can't.
The women want to come for you. The women want to come for you. I'm letting you.
I guess this goes to the part where she isn't breast. I mean, she's only breastfeeding,
exactly.
Right? I guess, and me not assisting the field, which is weird, right? Because I anticipated, I looked forward to like being able to bottle feed my daughter. That's one of the things I was really anticipating, like having to spend those late nights, early mornings, feeding her, but she doesn't take anything. So my wife handles all of that. So I apologize. I don't mean like it's super easy, right? I'm just saying because I'm not able to
Take part.
take part in that aspect of the feeding. You know, I sleep really well at night. I sleep really well at night. And you know, my it's funny, right? Because so let's talk about these. So everyone is saying, oh, and I don't want no one come for me and my.
You do change diapers.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I'll admit now, at that point, those times, she still is doing the majority of the feeding. I mean, the majority of the changing of diapers. But I don't want no one come for my wife and I, right? But so I understand, like, you know, newborns, they got to sleep in the bassinet and they ain't supposed to sleep in the bed or whatever. But let me tell y'all something. When your daughter or when your child doesn't seem to sleep soundly if she's not in a bed, like an actual bed, y'all can say whatever y'all want, bro. Like, we's the ones who love to be up with her crying because she don't want to be in the bassinet. She want to be held or she want to be close to one of us. And like, I think we are very cautious of like where we place her, how we place her, how we move. Sharice and I aren't big movers when we sleep, so it's not like we could turn on our daughter. But anyway, I'm saying all of that to say my daughter does this thing when she's asleep. So she sleeps through the night, or
Well,
she
let
sleep.
me stick a pin in it. Well, let's clarify. For the first 2 months,
Oh yeah,
she
is
was
in the bassinet.
all bassinet.
Yeah.
And it's crazy before you become a parent. It's like, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. I was very
Adamant.
She is not sleeping in my bed.
She really was.
And when you're waking up every hour on the hour and you can't get
That
no
quickly
sleep,
changes.
that changes. I'm like, okay, let's just try this. And then when
And the
she
crazy
sleeps
thing
5
is-
hours, and I'm
The
like,
crazy thing
well,
is,
okay
one of the
then.
first times we let her sleep in the bed,
Yes.
we let her sleep in the bed. It was for a nap. It wasn't
Yes.
even for like the night, right? It was just for a daily nap, and she slept for like 4 to 5 hours,
That was like
and we was like,
heaven.
we may be on to something
Yeah.
here. So we tried out doing the night, sleeping through the night in the bed, and she slept more than she would sleep in the bassinet. And for my wife, like, it makes it easier for her to feed because
The
she
side feed,
she
yeah.
just have to flip over and do the side feed. So speaking of the side feed, like my daughter would be asleep, and she's one of them. Obviously, she's swaddled, right? So she just laying down, hands tied or whatever, and she would wake up and open her mouth and just turn her head and be like, all right, I'm ready to eat. Like, it ain't no crying, no nothing. She just wakes up, does like this yawning type motion, and she ready to be fed. So, just watching her grow and learning all these things about her has been enjoyable, man. I must say.
Do you want to comment on the fact that, we've always had friends with kids and we would always say, we're never going to do this and we're never going to do that. And my child isn't going to do this.
So I don't think so. At least I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't seen anything that, or experienced anything yet that I said I wouldn't do.
We had a funny moment where she's being quiet. And then because I was on my phone and she was interested in what I was doing, and then I'm like, let me put my phone down. He was like, no, don't put the phone down, because she was quiet in that moment.
That's what they said?
Yeah, you say, don't put that phone down.
I don't remember that. But I am one of those parents who I don't want my kids to be hooked on screens. Yeah, I'm very adamant
we said
about
like
policing
2 or
that.
3.
Yeah, but I think we've done good. At least I've done good. Like, I want my daughter to like be on the ground and like experiencing things, touching, feeling.
We
tasting.
read a lot to her.
Say again?
We read a lot to her. So.
Yeah. So, it's just a lot of like normalcies. I think now when she gets a little older, I think now those things that we say we would never do is going to be tested, right? Especially when she like 3, 4, 5. That's when the screen time is really going to be, let's see what you could do. You know what I mean? So hopefully I stick to it. My goal and plan is to stick to it because I do want her to engage more like in conversation as opposed to like a screen. And I don't want to have to, shove a screen in her face just so that she can be quiet and allow, us, Sharice and I, to talk or eat or like whatever it is. I want her to be kind of a part of those situations. But again, we are young parents, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, I mean, I'm not anti-screen time, but there's a time to introduce it. Mm-hmm. And, you never want your kids to be left behind because this is a technologically driven world we're in. And we want to make sure that she she's up to speed.
Yeah.
But within limits. Like I
Yeah.
have a friend, she has kids, and she makes sure that they only get an hour a day. And then it locks after that hour, and they can request more screen time. And it's like, nah, you only get an hour screen time a day.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, I like I say, I think each parent, each kid is different, right? So whatever works for you, it works for you, and whatever works for us. Do you feel like there's more to life than what you're experiencing? That deep down, you're meant for something greater? It's time to stop wondering and start discovering. At the Monroe Institute of Leadership, we believe every person carries a unique purpose, a calling designed specifically for you. Our transformative courses, Discover Purpose and Unlock Your Potential, are crafted to help you uncover that purpose and equip you with the tools to step confidently into your destiny. These powerful courses are for leaders, entrepreneurs, students, and visionaries like you. Through proven principles and actionable insights, you will clarify your vision and set bold goals. You will identify your strengths and passions. You will overcome the barriers holding you back, and you will step boldly into your God-given potential. Our expert facilitators draw from timeless and tested principles, blending practical strategies with kingdom truths to empower you to lead a life of purpose, impact, and transformation. The world needs what you have to offer. Don't let another day pass without unlocking the greatness within you. Visit our website, themill.org, and register today. The Monroe Institute of Leadership. Renew your mind and transform a generation. What we do isn't me telling you what you should do and vice versa, right? I just think, you know, because we're all so uniquely designed, we just need to understand that everyone is going to be different, and certain things are going to work for certain kids and certain things won't, right? Just like my daughter doesn't like any bottles. She doesn't like any pacifier right now. Like I would have never expected my daughter not to like take a pacifier, right? I expected her to, especially after I've seen like a lot of my friends and their kids and how they deal with pacifiers. Like kids would walk around with the pacifiers and put the pacifiers in their own mouth. Like that was one of the things that always intrigued me. Like, man, this, like even my niece, like she used to walk around a pacifier, take it out to do something, put it back in her mouth when she's done. So, you know, like I'm still looking forward to like those aspects of my daughter's growth and development. So I'm excited to see it. Very excited to see it. Anything else you want to say? Well, she wants to talk.
She wants to talk.
Okay. Okay, she's shy now. All right, so
I got something.
yeah, go ahead.
How does fatherhood affect your day-to-day life? Like getting outside of your normal.
So I've incorporated her into my day-to-day life, my work life, right? I work from home, 65% of the time. So I take breaks to, play with her, spend some time with her, all of this stuff. And then in between, just stopping by, saying hi, holding her, just I'm enjoying that experience. I think that's helped. Because, one thing I didn't want was for my daughter not to want to be around me or like not want me to hold her. So I've been making it a point to like every point of contact I'm able to have, like to make sure that she sees me and knows me as dad, or at least is comfortable with me being around. Now, it doesn't work every time. Like a lot of times she still wants a mom, right? Because that's just that nurturing feeling that she's given. But she has, like, there are times where she wants to come to me or recognizes daddy and reacts and responds. So that's, it's been a fun experience. But yeah, from a work perspective, I, do have a lot of meetings and do a lot of things throughout my work day, but I try to incorporate her as much as I can. And my wife as well, right? Like, we make it a point to, try to enjoy each other along with our daughter, like in the day. So we would go out to lunch or do something together at home, in certain portions of the day, just to, just keep the family unit together. Yeah.
Yeah, like, so what we usually do is we try to get her down to bed by 7, and then we have the rest of the evening to spend cracking jokes, scrolling the phone, unhindered. Yep. She does wake up between, sometime between our our me time, but not for long periods. But it's very important to still prioritize your marriage because it is easy to lose focus of.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to talk about too, right? And Sharice and I we've had this discussion even before we had kids, right? We was like, look, it's us first, right? Like I had this, I think I mentioned this on the pod before, where I asked one of my boys he has a daughter. I think his daughter was maybe 2 or 3 at the time, and it was like, who you save if your daughter and wife, in trouble, and you only could save one, who you saving? And he was like, at first, he would say his wife, but now it's his daughter. His wife got to fend for herself, right? And I'm like, before having my daughter, I just always was like, I could save my wife, right? Because, could always make another kid, as bad as it may sound, that's just, that's what it is, right? Again, you know what I mean? So, and even now, like now that I have my daughter and I've been able to spend these 5 months with her, like I love her. I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. Like I truly love my daughter, but I choose my wife 100% of the time. And it's just what it is, right? And I'm sure there are people out there that feel differently, and kudos to you, like to each his own. But as for me and my house, the adults will be chosen. And then hopefully we don't have to ever make that decision. But yeah, so just talking about some random stuff. So it being end of this first quarter of the year, right? I'm excited about where I am from a professional standpoint. I think a lot of the things last year was really special for me, right? Especially the time that I spent in planning for this year. And, especially with my daughter coming along and incorporating her into that planning, and planning being a lot different now because I was thinking of things just slightly differently, in the sense of, okay, I can't just think for myself or me and Sharice. I actually have to think about our daughter's future, and then our future kids' future as well, right? So a lot of that planning was happening during the fourth quarter of last year, and then just seeing how a lot of that planned out for this year. It's been good to see. I'll be honest, everything hasn't happened the way I wanted it to happen. Like there has been quite a bit of challenges, quite a bit of delays, some setbacks even, some uncertainty in the things that I have started to do or put into place, and trying to see what works from what doesn't. But I think for the most part, like I've learned a lot, and I think the knowledge and experience that I've had coming into this year has helped me to know that when we face challenges, you don't just like forget everything and say, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. You figure it out, right? You manage yourself through the challenges, and just learn as you go and learn as you grow. So for me, that's what it's been. So from a professional standpoint, it's been good. My Sharice has been getting back into the swing of things. From a professional standpoint, getting a lot more work done. Well, a little more work done. Whatever Kaya allows her to do, she does. But even that has been fun, right? Getting Sharice back in work mode. So yeah, it's been a great year, a productive year so far. So I'm happy for what we've experienced so far for this first quarter. Want to say anything?
And then of course we've been working on the new app.
Yeah, developing the app. It's been a consistent development that we've been doing. Even our merch, right?
Yeah, I was just about to say
merch. I've introduced a lot of new merch this year. Merch is available actually on our website, so you guys can check our website out. It's legacybrandshop.com. All right, so legacybrandshop.com. That's the merch. You can get yourself some sweatshirts, some t-shirts. Support the movement. But it's just another idea that I had that I was excited about and just wanted to incorporate along with the app. Right, that was an idea as well that I developed and have been kind of perfecting over the last couple of years. And I think this year we're really gonna advance with the app a whole lot. I'm excited to see how it's going to look, at the end of this year, because me and the team and I are doing so much development. So we have so much ideas we want to incorporate into the app. So I'm excited to see how that looks. So if you haven't done so as yet, you can download the Monroe Global app from the App Store, Apple App Store, and the Google Play Store. And then you could get yourself some merch, man, some cool sweatshirts and some T-shirts at legacybrandshop.com.
How excited are you to go find Sophia?
I don't even know. So like
Sophia this year in Africa.
Sophia. So Sophia is this an actual thing? Like people know who she is. So Sophia is this giraffe toy that my daughter.
Her name is Sophie, but I had to block it up a little bit.
Block it up. So this giraffe toy that my daughter has, her name is Sophie. Never heard of this character, but it's apparently popular with the kids. So I guess she's asking me how excited am I to go see her, for Kaya to be able to see a real live giraffe. I'm actually looking forward to going to South Africa this year. We haven't been in 2 years.
No, more than 2 years.
More than 2 years. So 3 years.
Yeah.
2 to 3 years, whatever it is.
3
and
years.
so I'm excited to be able to head back, and also excited to be able to take my daughter for the first time. Now, she probably won't remember this trip, but we're going to take a ton of photos, so she'll be able to relive those at some point in her life. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to get back to traveling. I was just telling my wife the other day, like, man, I miss traveling. Like, I really want to be able to travel. Speaking of traveling, this first quarter, the amount of plane issues that have been happening is very wild to me, right? Especially, and so I saw a stat that said this same period of time last year, there were actually more plane incidences at that point in the year versus this year. So it's actually less this year, but for some reason, like, it's just heightened. I don't know if it's because like a lot of them there's a lot more tragedy involved, or it's just being caught on camera, a lot more cameras, or like, I don't know, whatever the case is. Like, it's been wild this year. It seems like every week there's at least 1 or 2 incidences that is happening.
It's been reported. That's all.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
It's politically
You think so?
enticed. 100%. Why would it be more? These last several years, it was way more than.
And we haven't.
Because of the whole aviation system that's happening in the U.S.
And they trying to. You know what? It's a good point.
It's called media.
Yeah. They I guess they have a plan in place that they want to implement, and they need to create some
They need to get the contracts.
some fear or some uncertainties in order for those to happen. It makes sense.
Take your flight.
Because I was surprised that last year's statistics was way more than this year's statistics up until this point. So
It's a little bit more fatal.
yeah. So there's a lot more tragedy involved. I did kind of suspect that, but nonetheless, it was more last year for sure. Mm-hmm.
Switching it up, talking about the app, and obviously having control messages. Can you address the AI concerns?
Yo,
on
these.
YouTube?
So yes, let's talk about this AI stuff, right? So AI has just come on stream. I want to say, as strong as it has been over the years, it was at its strongest last year, right? When it was, I guess, I don't know if it was just regularized from a sense of being stable and being able to be used more by the public. But there are, first of all, let me look in this camera, and I want you all to hear me. I am aware of all of the AI channels, especially on YouTube, right? These AI renditions of my dad's voice and his message. We are fully aware of it. The main issue is that there are no regulations in place on YouTube as yet. YouTube sees AI as a creative tool. YouTube is a creative platform. YouTube encourages persons to be as creative as possible with content. The issue that I have with YouTube is, yes, creativity is good, but when someone is now using the name, likeness, and voice, or whatever the voice is supposed to sound like, of someone else, and speaking a message that may not be entirely true, right? Or what that person or brand is about. That's where the issue is drawn. So we are in the process of. I've been trying to police it. First I started off trying to communicate directly with YouTube. It's been a big back and forth where they're saying that these many channels haven't violated anything yet, or at this point, or in their eyes, and they need us to pursue more legal avenues so that they can better police it for us. So that's what I've done. I've connected with some lawyers who have we've put a plan together for us to put some things in place to where we can better police it. It's a long process, longer than I would have anticipated it would have been, or longer than I would have liked it to be. But it's a process nonetheless. We're getting closer to the point now where we can figure out what it is that we can do and really start policing these many channels. But again, we are aware of what's going on. Like I can't tell you, and I understand the reason why we get all of these communications from people, talking about the video that they would have watched or listened to from YouTube, and is it Dr. Monroe? Because some of it sounds like him, but other parts of it doesn't seem to be a message that he would say. And it's any channel that isn't Monroe Global on YouTube is not sanctioned by us to be using any of our resources, the name, the likeness, the voice of Dr. Monroe, right? So with that said, if you see a channel, or if you come across a channel and they have anything that is AI voice sanctioned, it's not sanctioned by us. As a matter of fact, we would encourage people to continue to report these channels, report these videos, because they are in violation of our copyrights. But it's a work in progress, something that I'm hoping to get a better handle on within the next month or so. But it's one of those things where I know it's just going to take time. But once we have a better hold on it, we'll be able to police it a whole lot better.
Speaking of AI, like we know in the past couple of years, it's been getting very popular because of the ease of being able to create. And while it is a great tool, as we can see, it brings up certain issues like you're violating copyrights. Mm-hmm. And like me and you have had this conversation before. AI to me is kind of not allowing people to think anymore these days. I feel like people go to AI for every single thing. Write this greeting, write this message, write this, write that. And I feel like the newer generation that came up in the AI era is going to have serious problems with critical thinking. Because they can't, because they don't know how to. And we see it a lot with this new generation. Like they don't know how to do anything without AI.
No, it's crazy, right? Because they would, in the prompts that they use for AI. So like how I use AI, right? I have an idea already of what I am using it for. And I may put a prompt in just to get either some ideas or to expand on my idea, right? So I never use AI for an original thought that I'm going to use, or, I don't not review what it is that AI gives me, or, whatever the platform is. Mainly ChatGPT is what I use, or open source AI. But there are persons who strictly use these platforms, and whatever comes from these platforms, they use as their content or their submissions or whatever. And you're right, that's going to stagnate this next generation, because number one, I don't think they'll be able to tell what's real from what isn't real. Like that's the most scariest part. You don't know who is going to be who it is that's speaking, or the content that you're reading, who it's from. Like all of this is things that it's going to have to be a new level of control and regulations that are put in place so that it doesn't get out of hand. I think AI can be good when used in good content, in good context, but it could be detrimental to growth, right? Development, because there's this there's this demand that we place, or that, well, not me, but people place on AI to do the work for them, right? To make it easier, and it takes away from the skill that we have, or the skill that we can develop in the, using AI just to assist in developing that skill. So it's scary. I remember one of my boys called me one day last year, and he was like, "Yo, man, I woke up today and I was feeling stressed, and I was scrolling YouTube and I came across this video, and it was of your dad, and man, I watched the video, and it was just great, man. I was like, oh, what was it talking about? And whatever the title was, it wasn't one of our titles, and it was like one of those, like, I just knew it was a weird title, so I was like, yo, that don't sound familiar. Send that to me, right? So, because I was like, I think you may have been listening to an AI video or AI created video or whatever. And he was adamant, like, no, bro, this is your dad or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I even shared it with some friends of ours, and they was like, yeah, it was good too. And I was like, all right, send me the link. Sent me the link, clicked the link. Sure enough, it was one of these AI videos. And I had to prove to him, like, bro, this is my dad. It's an AI voice. So when he actually started to listen to the voice itself, he was like, oh yeah, this don't sound like your dad for sure. So it's just crazy, like, the technology has gotten to a point where, like, if people don't know what's real from what isn't, they're going to think it's all real, right? And that's the part that most upsets me or most scares me, because again, like copyright issues, IP issues, like all of that. But even from truth and a lie, right? You're never going to know, like, man, people are going to say, yo, I heard this on this channels and this person said this, and it has to be true because it's out there. And I think that's one of the challenges we're going to continue to face. We're going to be continually facing in society as we advance in technology, especially with the influx of AI and AI technology that is coming on stream.
But yeah, it's also heartwarming when we get these messages, because it's like, these are our people. These people know what is Dr. Monroe's message and his teachings, and what's not. And we have a strong village of people who are going to say this is not him.
So when in doubt, use the app. I want to introduce you to the Monroe Global app, the ultimate platform to empower your leadership journey and inspire your purpose-filled life. Access timeless teachings designed to help you grow in every area of your life. From leadership development to personal growth, Monroe Global has it all at your fingertips. With the Monroe Global app, you'll have exclusive access to powerful videos and messages from the legendary Dr. Myles Monroe, a digital library packed with life-changing content right at your fingertips, and a vibrant global community of visionaries, leaders, and change makers just like you. Whether you're at home, on the go, or in the office, the Monroe Global app ensures you never miss an opportunity to learn, grow, and lead. Available now on Google Play and the Apple App Store, the Monroe Global app is your gateway to unlocking your potential and impacting your world. Download the Monroe Global app today and take the first steps toward living the life you were born to lead. Everything on the app is real. Everything on our YouTube channel, Monroe Global, is real. So, all the content there is continually updated. I'm revising and editing content even now as we speak, just to be able to continue to, make available these resources that we have. Because I understand that there's a demand for it, there's a need for it. People look forward to, learning, developing themselves, and all of this good stuff. And that's something that's part of the reason why I wanted to create this app in and of itself, right? Because I wanted to create this platform where we can house the majority, if not all, of our resources, and people have easy access to it. So AI, is just one of those advancements that comes with its challenges. But I think, as technology develops, I think the policing of it is going to develop as well. So I'm not too worried about it right now. But we are in the process of making sure that we make things better. All right. How about, so let's switch topics for a bit, right? So if you know me, I'm a LeBron James fan, which means I'm a Lakers fan, right? So early on in the season, there was no hope, right? We was just gonna write this year off as as a push year. Anything that happened good this year, we were just going to be excited about. Cool. And the whole NBA world gets flipped upside down when, it comes out that AD is going to be traded to Dallas and the Lakers are getting Luka. So at first, it's happened late one night, saw a message pop up on my phone in our group chat, and fellas was like, yo, Luka to LA. And everyone was like, this gotta be a lie. This is definitely AI. AI gotta be lying. Did the research, Shams, everyone confirmed, because everyone thought Shams got hacked, right? But sure enough, it happened. They've been together for a month and a half now, almost 2 months now, and things are looking good. Hey, we talking championships. Like my guy Shannon Sharp says, but he say OKC, KFC, UFC, Lakers in 5. This has been a big turnaround. And ironically enough, the week AD went to Dallas and started to play, dog was hit with a phantom injury, as always. You know what I mean? And so you call it a blessing in disguise or whatever. As a Laker fan, I'm not saying the fact that he got injured. I'm saying the fact that he got traded before that injury happened. I never want to wish any injury on anyone. Hopefully AD gets better soon. But, I'm happy with what we got. And Luka has been balling over these last couple of weeks. So it's looking good. It's looking good.
This is why Gen Z is not loyal to any organization, because
I love it though.
You will wake up and you are
I love it.
Not even on the same job.
I love it.
In a totally different
If it's
state.
one thing I want to teach my daughter is, my kids, whenever we have our other kids as well, is to be loyal to who is loyal to you, right? And just to understand the business of everything, right? And one of the reasons I love this new generation, so it comes with its pros and cons, right? Because they're not loyal to, or they're not going to stick to anything that they don't want to do or they don't like, but they don't have any stickability as well, right? So they are not going to be overly committed or put enough time into, certain aspects of their development or their profession that maybe they should. So that's a caveat to that mindset. But I think at the end of the day, it's not all bad, because what our parents did, where they stayed on a job that they hated and stayed there for 20, 30, 40 years. You got this next generation who was like, if I don't like the first week, I out. I can find something else. And I applaud that, right? I applaud that courage. I applaud that the tenacity that they have to be like, I'm going to stick to what it is that I want to do, right? And really focus on making sure that I'm happy in the environments that I place myself in. And if I'm not, I'm going to change the environment. So I truly believe that's a great thing. Let's go Lakers. Hopefully we make some noise this coming down to the end of the season into the postseason. And who knows, we could make a championship out of this.
Jimmy and Steph looking pretty good too.
Yeah, I don't think they could. They Jimmy and Steph ain't really on the Lakers level. You know what I mean? They ain't got no size. All of them, they do short. We got Braun 6'9", Luka 6'8". I'm saying though, we got more size than Golden State. If it's a team I'm worrying about, it's Golden State. Lakers. If
You never cut out Steph.
yeah. They didn't make the playoffs last year though, so it's fine. But Buddy on Golden State, so I kind of rooting for Golden State. I want Buddy to be successful. Just it's just a Bahamian connection. So that's part of the reason why I would want Golden State to be successful. Just not better than or more successful than the Lakers, of course. I bias, so I can leave my guy to get a couple more before he call it quits. Talking about calling it quits, let's talk about Braun longevity and how he's still balling with all these young guys in the league. It's crazy, bro. The things this guy doing, still jumping high, still guarding, defending, outrunning some of these young guys on the court. It's I don't know what it is. But
Taking
God
care of your body.
Yeah, God has blessed him, and he has taken full advantage of the skills that he has been blessed with.
How would you internalize
Yeah, so looking at his career, his longevity, and internalizing that for me or anyone else, I think you got to look at the fact that he understood who he was. He understood his skill. He understands what it is that he can bring to the table. But he doesn't only understand that; he works at it, right? Like, and there's a lot of sacrifice that comes along with that. Like to be great or to be as great as you want to be, like it's going to come with a lot of sacrifice. It's going to come with you having to not see friends or take that trip you want to take or spend as much time with your family even that you may want to spend, right? Because there's some sacrifice that you're going to have to make to develop yourself and perfect your craft. And man, if it's one thing that his skill sets has shown is the fact that he is continually able to produce on the court. And it has a lot to do with what he's been doing off the court and behind the scenes. So if there's anything you could take from him, just being productive and adamant about development of your skill, I think is important for us to take away.
Also having the right people around.
Yeah, good team. You can't beat a good team. Having the right persons in the right areas of your life as well. That's big help because you can't do it by yourself, right? None of us attain the success that we have attained or want to attain, all on our own. So it's going to take a team. It's going to take a village. So just ensuring that, you have the right people behind you, you're putting yourself in the right position and the right environments. And, so hopefully that breeds success and continual success at that. But yeah, the team is important for sure. Anything else you want?
Switching things up. What would you say is maybe the top leadership principle that your parents instilled in you?
The top leadership principles, I wouldn't say my parents have still instilled in me, right? I'll just generalize it to say that I've learned to this point.
That's affecting you
today. Yeah.
Your day-to-day.
Mm-hmm. I can be honest with you, planning. Like, I used to watch my dad take the entire month of December, well, even from, I'd say October, actually from August. He would start his planning in August, right? And so he would take a vacation in August, 2 weeks. And the majority of that vacation would be him planning the rest of the year, that current year and into next year. And then going down to like December and January, like he would be adamant about like planning. So you would see, manila folders scattered across the table and they're labeled with, the months of the year or topics that he wants to cover or, just different things that he wants to do. And it'd just be scattered on the table. And he would sit down daily, like on a day-to-day basis and plan his life for the next 12, 18 months. So that's something that, I observed growing up and also doing. But like now, especially now, I think that's like planning, and I plan everything. I try to plan as much as I can with everything that I can because planning helps. Planning not only gives me insight on what's possible, like what could happen, it helps me when things that are unexpected comes up as well because I'm able to it's easier for me to pivot when I have a plan than when I don't have a plan. Because when I don't have a plan, now I'm guessing and being like, all right, I got to sit and think about, oh man, what would be the best decision? Like, what could I do or whatever? But I think when a plan is in place, even if like, not even just like challenges, but delays, right? When a plan is in place, it's like, okay, I can manage myself through these delays because of the detailed plan that I put in place. So for me, it would definitely be planning. I think that's the most, that's the greatest skill or the greatest thing that I think I've learned over the years that I could continually apply to my life and everything that I do.
Can you make it a little bit more like practical? Like maybe like 1 or 2 steps that you like, at least this is how I start. Like how do I,
So for me, I mean, I talked about it in the planning episode this year. I went into a lot of detail, right? But the first thing I do is figure out what it is I want to do. Like I write out the vision. Like, okay, for the next 12 months, 18 months, whatever that timeline is, I literally write down the things I want to accomplish. So I look at it big scope, a wide view of what it is that I want to do. And then I work myself backwards. And that working yourself backwards, that's something that my dad specifically taught me like growing up. And like if you have a goal, okay, say what that goal is, name that goal, and then kind of chip away at it and figure out how you can work your way backwards to work your way forward to the goal. So for me, it's just naming what the vision is. Like that's the first step. Second step, again, is developing those strategies that helps you to work backwards to, okay, this is where I want to go. This is where I'm at. Here's what I can do tomorrow to get me closer to, this goal over the next 12 or 18, 24 months, whatever that timeline is. So that's kind of what I use. But again, I spoke about that in length in my pod about planning and the importance of planning. So if you want more information on that particular episode, you can check out the link. I'll put it in the bio of this particular episode, and you can check it out, man. I think there's a lot of good information in that'll help you to be a better planner, and to be putting those strategies in place for you to execute the vision that you have for your life.
I got two more.
Yep.
Why podcasting? Why are you doing podcasting?
Great question. So podcasting. So for me, I'm cool with public speaking, right? I still don't like public speaking though. Like me still being an introvert, I still get anxious. I still get anxiety like when I have to public speak. I do it, but I don't necessarily like it. So with podding, like it creates this neutral ground where, yeah, I know it's still getting out there to the public, but I have better control of this particular environment. So that's why podding, and then I just like the platform of podding because I can literally like do this, right? Talk about just things that I like, things I don't like, the first thing that comes to mind. I could have specific topics that I want to discuss. So it's created this nuance where I can take barbershop conversations and bring it to the pod, or take conversations from my group chats and bring them to the pod, or even conversations with Sharice and bring them to the pod, right? It allows that flexibility where I can control the narrative, and it's just something that I love.
This next one, you can take it on the pod. Mel conference. What's up with that?
Mel conference.
I thought you can take it out.
No, you can take it out, man. Mel is something that I'm still questioning about but how I want to reintroduce it. I still think Mel is a great idea, but just from a budgetary standpoint, I wanted to personally figure out the best and most feasible way to have Mel and make it make sense. Because people ask for it all the time, and them continually asking just helps me to know that it was impactful and was kind of affecting the way I wanted it to. But every year I say, yeah, man, Mel coming this year, and just don't pan out, But hopefully, so my wife keep pushing me to do it. But we'll see. We'll see. I stopped giving we'll at some point we'll bring Mel back.
I would like to see, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to see, a live podcast.
You keep talking about this live pod.
A live pod. I think it would be good.
Yeah, a live pod would be cool. I mean, I've considered all of these ideas. Live pod I think would be cool. But I think when the time is right, like it'll happen.
Okay. Who would be your ideal podcast guest and why?
Ideal podcast guest. That's a good question. I'd want to sit down with. So I recently watched an interview that, man, I don't want to butcher this guy's name, but he's the current president of, he's the current CEO of Red Lobster. And he was the former CEO of P.F. Chang's. So he turned P.F. Chang's around and made them, they were going through a sale. They weren't doing so good, and him and his team turned it around into a successful like brand now, and now they're trying to do the same thing for Red Lobster. Watched watched an initial interview with him, then watched a few more, over the last couple of weeks. And man, I am intrigued by the way that he thinks from a strategical standpoint. Not even just the way that he talks. He's well spoken, but the way that he thinks and how he breaks down things, right? Because he did an interview on the Breakfast Club in particular, and they were throwing ideas at him, like, recommendations, like to say, like, oh, maybe you should do this or do that. And the way that he broke those ideas down, I was like, man, like, I would have never thought of it that way or articulated it that way. I think he would be a good interview. I find him interesting, just from a thinking perspective. The mind and the way that his mind works, and the fact that he is
young.
Yeah, he's young. He's like 37 years old. That's it's just what he's been able to do, and the amount of credibility he's been able to build in the industry. I think is very unique. And I feel like that would be a great sit down.
You have to try and make that happen then.
Absolutely. I'll definitely reach out. Never know.
Never know.
All right, man. Well, that's cool. So, this was, again, one of those pods where I just kind of wanted to review, if you will, the year and just, shoot the breeze. Just talk about a bunch of different topics and not really have anything specific that I wanted to talk about. But hopefully, in this conversation, you were still inspired. If not, you were at least entertained. But until next time, as always, the vision and goal of this podcast is to entertain, educate, and elevate you miles high above your fears, your doubts, and any limitations that you may think exist. Always knowing that those limitations only exist in your mind. All right, until next time, you guys stay blessed.